Hey there guys, Raj here. Hope you guys are all doing well. Today's video I'm going to be talking about three fragrances from the brand Acqua di Parma. So a while ago I did a subscriber's choice video and Acqua di Parma was the one that won, which totally surprised me. I honestly thought it was going to come last. So I'm going to be talking about three fragrances from the ingredient collection, and these three are, can't get my words out. The three fragrances I'm going to talk about are Quercia, Sandalo, and Ebano. So the ingredient collection is Acqua di Parma's take on a higher end line. The fragrances are already sort of, slightly above typical designer prices, but they have gone a lot higher now, and 180 ml will go for around 228 pounds. You can do the conversion into your own currency, but yeah, definitely relative to the rest of the line, they're a little bit higher. I have to admit, I've never been a massive fan of the ingredient collection, so after trying these three, has my opinion changed? Well, you're about to find out. So let's get into fragrance number one, which happens to be my favorite. In fact, I'll do these in order of which ones are my favorite from this trio. So the first one, which I really enjoyed, was Quercia, and they say, it has, in all of these, they say it has the sparkling notes, citrus notes of Colonia, which was the original Acqua di Parma fragrance, and they've done different variations on it. Intensa and Essenza those two are my favorites. So what they've done with this entire range is take the DNA of the original Colonia and try to add some new elements to that style. So with Quercia, they have added in oak moss absolute, patchouli, and tonka bean. So Quercia, yeah, it does contain the original lively, zesty, refreshing notes of Colonia. You've got that beautiful lemon and the bergamot and neroli, and it's very nice. It's very refreshing, and I found this fragrance, going on to the more technical side of the fragrances, I did find this very, very long lasting. I find it very good to wear on all smarter occasions. It's a compliment getting fragrance, and I feel it could be worn year round actually. It does contain some other ingredients which kind of give it a little bit of a twist, but not too much. There is this green, fuzzy, warm accords I get from this oak moss, and there's some woody elements into it in this fragrance as well. It comes across as a little bit sweet, but also a little bit citrusy and refreshing, and overall just very, very well put together. I see a man wearing a suit, being well presented, but nothing too stuffy. Quite cool, I think the person has to be who wears this fragrance. It's definitely a good one, but it's more expensive than Intensa, it's more expensive than Essenza, but I feel like the scent profile impresses me kind of on the same level. In fact, I probably prefer Intensa and Essenza. So why does this cost a little bit more? To me, do I perceive the ingredients as smelling better, as just being a better fragrance, and just the higher price tag being justified compared to the others in the Colonia range? Not really. I do prefer it to the original Colonia, this one, Quercia, but when I can get, as I've said already many times, Intensa and Essenza for cheaper prices, I'm going to go with those, to be honest. But you never know. If I got a good deal on this one, yeah, I could pull the trigger, but I'm certainly in no rush, and I'm not really looking around. So the second one of this trio, which I liked, or like if I had to rank them, the second one would be Sandalo. And Sandalo is, as the name suggests, a sandalwood-based fragrance. So again, taking the original Colonia, but adding in what they say are creamy and enveloping notes of Mysore sandalwood. So Mysore being in India, whether it contains genuine Mysore sandalwood, I don't know. Also, aromatic notes of lavender and tonka bean. Sorry, I just completely lost where I was reading. So yeah, Sandalo, first thing I have to say is that scent-wise, it's a very nice fragrance. But as a total composition, I find myself getting a bit tired of it and getting a little bit bored of it. What you get is a very nice smelling fragrance that lasts a very, very long time, but it's quite linear and it doesn't change, and therefore it doesn't change much. And after a while I get a little bit bored, you know, it's too much of a good thing, and I want some additional ingredients that just don't really pop out on my skin. I've done a fresh spray to remind myself, and yeah, again, like Quercia, it's very tailored, it's very smart, you know, in terms of like where you would wear it, and also the way that the composition has been made. It's very well put together. It's not, it's quite nicely blended. Then none of the ingredients really jump out. They all seamlessly blend in together, which is quite good. Performance is really good. Complement factor is there again. It's a little bit, has a bit of a spicy edge to it, quite balmy, resin-like, which is quite nice, and adds a additional element to the sandalwood. Maybe actually the sandalwood itself is giving off some of those more spicier notes. Not spicy in a black pepper or a chili or a saffron way, spicy in a woody way, if that kind of makes sense. It does smell like a little bit of bark, you know, you rubbed your hands on some wood, or a tree or something like that, and a little bit earthy, a little bit of dampness, quite nice actually. There is a bit of a wood polish effect, which I don't mind. I can sort of tolerate it, but not my favorite part of this fragrance. But yeah, as I said, not really a huge amount of development on my skin, even though I've picked out different nuances within the fragrance. Overall, when you're like at work, say for example, my example, when I was at work at my desk and the scent is kind of coming off my skin, I pretty much get a kind of like a nice sandalwood scent, which is great, but I wouldn't mind a little bit more going on. Maybe I'm being a little bit picky, who knows. Going on to the final one, and this is one that didn't really jive with me, to be honest. This one was called Ebano, and Ebano has, what they've added to the Colonia DNA is this woody, spicy accents of ebony, being ebony wood I imagine, with creamy notes of elemi and honey. And I think that the inclusion of the honey note in here, mixed in with the woodier, spicier elements of this fragrance, doesn't really work for me. It clashes. It smells a bit odd. It smells a bit medicinal. I think from memory it did have good performance, but just smelt a bit strange. Like I felt like this was something they would give you at a pharmacy to rub on your some rash or something that you might have. I'm not convinced. Yeah, it is a bit strange to me. It doesn't quite work. It is resinous. The fragrance definitely has a resiny feel. The honey adds a fairly sweet, a slightly sweet element, but also a kind of funky element to the fragrance. I think it's coming from the honey. Wherever it's coming from, it doesn't really work on my skin. And you know what, guys? Overall, the ingredient collection for me is it's a decent line of fragrances. Nothing really that gets me excited. I know a lot of people like the oud and the leather. A lot of people talk about the myrrh one and the sandalwood one as well. But on the whole, when I'm judging the collection as a whole, I don't find them particularly exciting, or I've never really felt the need to go out and add the fragrance to my to buy list and buy it straight away. But you know, if you guys think differently, I'm keen on hearing your thoughts. I know there are a lot of fans of this line, and if you're one of them, let me know maybe which one is your favorite, or which one of these three do you like the most or sounds appealing to you if you haven't tried these before. So guys, thanks for watching. Drop a comment, a like, and subscribe if you're interested in seeing more content from myself. And I will see you guys soon. Take care. Bye.